that problem? Everybody else.
No, my side's like good.
That's where they are.
Okay, I think we'll get started. My name is Arista. Some of you know me because I retired from Canon McMillan High School. I want to welcome all of you here. We really appreciate that you're here to get information because that was the reason this was set up. I do want to ask a question. How many here are from Muse? Okay, thank you. Anyway, what we're going to do is, I turn over to Tom to explain, give you information. What we'll do is when he is finished, we will go out for questions, and I'd appreciate if you put your hands up so that I see you, and I'll let you ask the question that you want to ask. I think it's better to be organized, and we can get it done faster, and everybody should be satisfied. Again, thank you very much, and I'm going to turn it over to Tom.
We still have people can sit at the table. There's 58 pages in this packet, so as we go through, we might be better off at the table than we can sift through.
Yeah, if you want to come up to the tables where there are packets.
It'd be hard to hold them on your lap.
And I'm going to mention this because I'm not a specialist with any of this information. I don't know if you know or not, but the Post-Gazette last Sunday did a huge article on everything. If you know nothing about it and you read this very, very large article, you would learn a good bit. And then they followed the article up on Monday and devoted mostly and concentrated to Ewing sarcoma. And they listed all the people in this area with illness that either passed away or did not. They did a fantastic job last Sunday and Monday in the Post-Gazette. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you, there are 58 pages in that packet. The 22 of them are the actual ABB agreement, and we'll probably only be looking at 2 or 3 or 4 sentences out of the whole agreement. 15 are the DEP consent order, and we'll probably only be looking at 3 or 4 pages out of that. 10 pages are a slideshow that you might have seen if you attended the meeting 2 weeks ago, which our township engineer, Dan Geiser, showed. I just copied his whole slideshow. That's 10 pages. So even though there's 58, we're not going to be going through 58 pages.
What did they decide at that meeting for those of us that had work?
Say it again?
What did they decide from last term, the meeting that those slides are from? Was it a determination? Or different mixed stories? Some said they just decided to let the EPA guys do another evaluation.
Let us get to the packet first. We'll get to that. I want to tell you that we're here in Muse tonight because after last week's township meeting, residents learned that the DEP would be willing to come out here and talk to the residents and answer their questions about that ABB property. But unfortunately, 3 members had voted no to inviting the DEP out here. Many residents after that meeting told us that they knew of a lot of conflicting statements were being made. They said they didn't need Cecil Township they didn't need Township's permission to have a meeting. They could have their own meeting in Muse if they wanted to organize it. They said they'd invite the DEP engineers and the environmental attorneys out here. So Darlene Barney responded by offering to organize a meeting. I was asked to provide all the information I had to coordinate with the professionals in the DEP and the attorneys and engineers to try to get them out here tonight. Then Darlene Barney, she proceeded with the hall rental and the flyers and things like that, making arrangements for us. I reached out to manager Don Januso, contacted professionals to meet with the residents. Don informed me that the DEP would not attend if not officially invited by a majority of the board, since the DEP is a party to the sales agreement with the township. Our environmental engineer, Dave Perry, who was there last Thursday, said he would attend here at no charge as long as the majority of the board was in favor of his attendance. Well, he's not here. Additionally, I asked that the recently fired environmental attorneys be asked to release the information that they had prepared for that meeting. They had already prepared. So you may recall that they were prevented from attending the public meeting, so they didn't give a report. I made it clear that their information was already prepared and paid for by the taxpayers, so it should be released. Don Janusa sent out an email to the board and eventually informed me that 3 supervisors would not agree to the release of the attorney's notes for this meeting and would not agree to allow Dave Perry, the environmental engineer, to attend tonight. Additionally, Don G. reiterated that the same 3 supervisors had already voted at the last meeting against having the DEP come out to a meeting with our residents here. He stated again that the DEP would not attend unless officially invited by the township. So we did hold out hope that maybe Frankie easier would have a change of heart and at least agree to have this professional out here. But I'm sorry, you're stuck with me. I don't have anybody else
Well,
here.
they're our township. We voted these people in. They should be
Well,
here.
that's right.
Whether it's for or against, you know, they at least talk to the people with us.
Hey, Tom, what were the reasons why they voted to not have professionals here?
Can I get through just the packet first and then we'll try to get to those questions? Just a history of how the township even got involved with ABB a few years ago. In 1996, the DEP made, or the ABB made that complete cleanup of the property, that extensive cleanup that you'll be reading about here in the packet. They had done a good enough job that they got Act 2 clearance on the property, the worst part of the property, which is where the building sites were located and where all the dumping was done. They came to us then when they saw how the test results were coming on the wells. They approached the township and said the ABB is interested in donating that property to the township and wanted to know if we'd be interested. Well, we would be at the time the board was interested. We know God's not making any property anymore. But they had done 20 test wells on that property that were being monitored by the DEP. The DEP suggested that we hold off on any agreement with ABB for 5 years or so to watch the test wells and monitor them, get the results, and just see how well the cleanup turned out. So all that kind of went by the wayside. There weren't any more discussions with A, B, and B. Then about 10 years later, we got word that the test wells were coming out so well that ABB decided they had a marketable product and they were going to sell it to a private buyer. When we heard that, we did approach them to ask them about their thoughts 10 years ago that they might donate it to the township. So I just want you to pull out in the back of your packet, item I. You can find that. I know enough of the order. Item I was written from our township manager, Don Janusa, in 2007. And it said, Cecil Township has in the past expressed an interest in the property that you own off Muse Bishop Road in the village of Muse. Township officials had numerous conversations and site visits with Mr. Ken Campbell in 95 and 96 with the possibility of ABB Environmental donating the property to Cecil for parks and recreation. Due to the environmental issues at the time, the discussion stopped. However, Cecil Township officials are still interested in the property. On Thursday, February 22nd, a meeting with township officials, U.S. Congressman Tim Murphy, Joe Santa of the MacTech, and the Montour Trail Council representatives and school district administrators, a meeting was held to discuss developing that property for the benefits of the residents throughout the surrounding communities. Cecil Township envisioned a joint cooperation among public and nonprofit entities to secure matching federal and state grants for a project of this significance. We have the support of the residents, community groups, surrounding municipalities, the Kennewick School District, and the Montour Trail Council. And these goes on to just thank you for coming out. Through several months of meetings, again, it didn't pan out because at the time, Murphy couldn't help us. He said there was just no grant monies available for something to that extent. So again, the discussion all died out. Then in 2015, when the township was looking for a good spot to relook at our public works department, we knew that there was an area up on that Slate, on the Muse ABB property that was never touched. It was, they call it the undeveloped area. And we actually approached the ABB and asked them if they would consider just selling us that one clean piece so that we can put a public works building there. They thought about it, they declined, and they says that they probably want to work in agreement with us that's satisfactory, where we take all of it. They said they would get it cleaned up to the Act 2 standards for the whole property, and that they would rather us buy it than not the one good piece. That's what started the conversation. So we decided to go into talks with the ABB and the DEP about considering purchasing that property. We worked for months, almost 8 months on an agreement, and the agreement is in here in full, and we'll get to that in a minute. But right off the bat, we had a clause in there we called it the go, no-go situation, where we looked at the property, the worst possible part of that property, to see if ABB would be able to get it clean to Act 2 standards. Because if they couldn't fix the worst part, we were walking away. It just wasn't going to happen. So there are two components of the Act 2 clearance you can get. And when you get Act 2 clearance on a property, it's basically you're getting a relief from liability. They exonerate you in perpetuity for the property you bought. So the two components, one is land and one is water. The land component is always pretty easy to get. Clearance on water is always more difficult. And our township decided that we wanted to get liability relief from everything, land and water. So we weren't going to just take the land and get Act 2 on that and live with the liability we would have if the water wasn't done. So we had our geotechnical engineer start his testing on the water first. And you're going to see the reports, and I'll get to those in a minute, that he went through all the water samples, came back with a report that the water was good, and it wouldn't be an issue to get Act 2 on the water. So then we had asked him to get started on the Act 2 part of the land. We were kind of anxious for things to move along. The land itself we knew would take a lot longer to take care of, but we were still interested for our public works department. So I mean, that's basically the history of how we got involved with that. At that time, just as we were asking him to get started on the land, we were notified that we would really qualify for a federal Bureau of Mine Reclamation grant to clean that Slate property completely. We knew it was going to take close to $1.5 million, and they said that property was primed to get a grant for it. Our engineer, Dan Dazaroff, in August, applied for that grant on our behalf. We anticipated the grant was supposed to be announced in October, so we were going to delay the project just a couple months until that grant was announced and we got it. Well, it ended up October, November, December, January, February, March, and finally it wasn't until April that they notified us that we qualified for that grant, or that we were approved for that grant. So to get started, if you go to just the first page on in your packet, where it says A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H,